It was a Monday morning like any other, gray, dull, and soaked with the drizzling cold of failure. Daniel Morgan sat on the edge of his unmade bed, staring at the ceiling fan turning slowly above him, as if mocking his own stalled momentum in life. Once an aspiring musician, Daniel had moved to Nashville 5 years ago with stars in his eyes and a guitar on his back. He dreamed of being on stage, hearing his name cheered, and inspiring people with his songs. But 5 years of struggle, disappointment, and rejection had chiseled away at his optimism. At 34, he was broke, working as a night shift janitor, and barely hanging on to hope. His apartment was a mess, his fridge empty, and his inbox full of "we regret to inform you" emails from record labels. But that morning, something different happened. As he picked up his phone to scroll mindlessly through social media, a video autoplayed. A motivational speaker said just 5 words that struck him like a thunderbolt: "Small habits change your life." Daniel scoffed, but something in his soul stirred. That night, he found himself Googling how to build small habits. It sounded silly, pointless even, but he needed something, anything, to climb out of the darkness. The first habit Daniel chose was simple: 1 push-up every morning. Just one. Anyone could do 1 push-up, he muttered. Even losers. The next morning, bleary-eyed and depressed, Daniel got on the floor and did a single push-up. It felt stupid. It felt small. But for the first time in a long while, he did something for himself. The next morning, he did 1 again. And then he did 2. The habit began to grow, not in intensity, but in identity. He started seeing himself as someone who could follow through, someone who could build something, even if it started with just 1. After 2 weeks, he was doing 10 push-ups every morning, then 15, then 20. He added a quick walk around the block afterward, then a bottle of water instead of coffee. With a little more energy in his body, Daniel remembered something he used to love: journaling. He bought a cheap notebook from the corner store. Every night before bed, he wrote just 3 sentences. Sometimes, "Today sucked, but I did my push-ups." Still no call from the label. "I feel worthless, but I won't stop." And slowly, the words shifted. "I cleaned my kitchen today." Wrote a new verse. "I feel proud." He realized that writing was an act of bravery. Honesty on paper became a mirror for progress. The small habit of writing let him hear his own voice again. With strength in his body and clarity in his mind, Daniel picked up the guitar he hadn't touched in 8 months. His fingers were stiff, his chords rusty, but his soul, it was on fire. He started playing again, just 10 minutes a day. He began humming melodies during his janitor shifts. He jotted lyrics in his notebook. On breaks, he recorded voice memos on his phone. Soon, Daniel was creating again, not for fame, not for money, but for healing. Every song was a scar turned into sound. Every melody was a whisper of courage. As the months rolled by, Daniel's life began to look different. He didn't suddenly become rich. He didn't land a record deal, but he was stronger, healthier, more focused. His room was clean. His schedule was organized. He even started waking up at 6 a.m., a far cry from the man who once slept until noon. Daniel began posting videos of his songs on social media, not chasing validation, but simply sharing. A few people liked it. One woman messaged, "Your song got me through a hard day." He cried. That one comment meant more than any record label ever could. One Friday night, 6 months into his habit journey, Daniel passed by a flyer taped to a coffee shop window. "Open mic night. All creatives welcome." His heart pounded. He hadn't performed in years. Fear gripped him, but another voice, quieter but stronger, whispered, "Small steps got you here. 1 more won't kill you." So he signed up. On the night of the event, he stepped onto the small, dimly lit stage. Hands trembling, voice cracking, he sang his newest song, titled "1 Push-Up." The lyrics told his story of hitting rock bottom, of building back 1 small habit at a time, of finding light in the tiniest of cracks. When he finished, the room was silent. Then came the applause, and then a standing ovation. A woman approached him afterward and said, "Your story is my story." Thank you. Daniel didn't become a celebrity overnight, but his video of that performance went viral. People from around the world began to reach out. He was invited to speak at a youth center, then a recovery group, then a community college. Each time, he told the same story: I was broken. I started with one push-up. Small habits saved my life. His journey inspired others to do the same. To drink one glass of water, write one sentence, make one phone call, take one brave step. A year later, Daniel sat across from a reporter from a national newspaper. "You're being called the small habits musician. Did you ever imagine this?" He smiled. "I imagined dying alone in my apartment. This, never." But that's the thing. You don't change your life by imagining the finish line. You change it by stepping forward when everything screams at you to quit. One step, one push-up, one chord. She asked, "What would you tell people stuck in darkness right now?" Daniel looked into the camera and said, "Courage isn't always a roar. Sometimes it's doing one tiny thing with your whole heart. Start there." Daniel now runs workshops, teaches music therapy, and writes songs rooted in resilience. He still journals every night. He still drinks water first thing in the morning. He still starts every day with a single push-up. And every time someone says, "I'm lost, I can't change," he smiles and replies, "Good. That means you're exactly where I was. And if I can start with one push-up, so can you." This story isn't just about Daniel. It's about you. Maybe you're in a dead-end job. Maybe your dreams feel dusty and out of reach. Maybe your body is tired and your spirit worn. But listen carefully. You don't need to overhaul your entire life overnight. You just need to start. One small habit, one walk, one journal entry, one deep breath, one push-up. Let Daniel's story echo in your soul. Courage isn't born in grand moments. It's forged in the quiet, relentless commitment to show up, even when no one's watching. You are not too far gone. You are one small habit away from transforming your life. Remember this. The smallest step in the right direction can become the biggest step of your life. So take that step today, right now.